Welcome back. I'm Michael. You are listening to Dresser After Dark on the Lifestyle and Business Talk Radio Networks, 888-454-3378, or email your questions or your comments to michael@michaeldressershow.com. Sometimes, and listen very closely, sometimes the greatest challenges can become our greatest gift. Paulette Giesbrecht is with us, and on October 2nd, 2004, in a full moon, she became paralyzed from the neck down, quadriplegic. And for no reason. And Paulette, hi, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, and I'm so glad you're here. Bring us up to that point of October 2nd when you woke up and you were a quadriplegic. What happened before? What brought you to that?
Well, I can only explain that when I got sick, it was probably around this time in the morning. I had just woke up. I thought I was suffering a stroke. And I was quite concerned that I was having a stroke, and I called somebody to come in and watch my children. I went to the hospital, and I sat there for about 7 hours in the emergency ward, and they sent me home with a pinched nerve. It was terrifying to be told I had a pinched nerve, especially when I used to be an Olympic athlete, and I understood that it was something much more serious. So I went home at about 7:30 in the morning, and as I arrived home, I realized I wasn't getting any better. My mom had come by to see me. We were moving that day, by the way. Our house was in boxes. And my husband didn't know what to do with me. We were only halfway packed. My mom was concerned. You know, she said to me, "Paulette, what's wrong with you? You're usually the first person who would have had this house packed up." And anyway, my mom got very concerned. My husband got concerned. They put me in bed. About 6 o'clock that evening, my mom called into the nurse's station and said, "I think my daughter's progressively getting worse." And it was at that time they had sent an ambulance down to pick me up, get me back to the hospital. And there was a doctor there on call who said, "We've only seen this case once before." So it was terrifying, to be honest with you, very scary.
Well, let's bring it up to that, because when I open the show, and it's true, and we're going to get into this, sometimes the greatest challenges, the roadblocks, the worst things possible that can happen to us in our life end up to be the greatest gifts, because those are those watershed moments when you make that turn and your life becomes completely different and it has brand new meaning. Let's go back. You trained for the Olympics at 12 and a half years old. Now, I've seen pictures of you as a bodybuilder. When I was told you were a bodybuilder, I said, okay, and then I saw the pictures. Unbelievable. When you say bodybuilder, it was all there, and then some. Now, okay, so you were a bodybuilder, but then you began to realize that you were living a lie in your life, which was what?
Well, I can only tell you this, Michael. My whole life had built a level of propaganded lifestyle. It was from the world. I mean, I trained with the big boys. I'd been up, with all the big elite athletes, and Sonny Schmidt and Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these people I had spent my time with. I had been in modeling. I went to Hollywood. I had done a movie. My cousin's out there right now, Mimi Kuzik, who's doing a movie. But I kind of realized at that point in my life, Michael, it was like being under hypnosis. I was hypnotized to the things that were real now. This was a real conscious awareness. I was not going to survive this without a different measure of thinking. I had to think critically very different at that moment, and it was about my children, it was about my husband, and it was about me, and how my life was just cut so short.
No, you were in the States because you say you were on the run. When you say you were on the run, what did you mean?
Well, I was basically training for Team Canada for Taekwondo for these years that had taken me straight up to the United States, because my coaches had basically got me into a situation with my back against the wall. I had been abused, I had been used, I had been basically flatlined in Canada. So I did go to the States, and I found some awesome coaching second time around to the States, not the first time, by the way. And when I did, I realized life just wasn't what it was made out to be, trying to get a visa and sit in the States and train for an American team. I mean, I felt robbed of my country, and that's how I can basically say it. I felt a void.
Well, let me ask you the question. When there was the void there, obviously, that you were under pressure and you realized life was not what you thought it was going to be. Life effectively was a lie. It wasn't a true coming from the heart life with any kind of fulfillment attached to it. Paulette, was the quadriplegia, do you think that in your own mind that you created it to stop, to take a look at your life and say enough is enough, and the only way that you could do it was stop the very mechanism that was causing you to run?
I think quadriplegia was basically an introduction to my life to basically transcend from an old lifestyle. I had to basically come out of the hurt, the pain, the suffering. I had to relieve myself from the indulgence of trying to be a greater person than I really was. I mean, I had to get out of my own eyes now. And I think that I had to get under the universal eyes of God, and I can only say that properly because my spirit was broken, and those blows had to cleanse away a lot of trouble in my life, and they had to help me heal from the inner depths of my own heart. And I had a broken heart, Michael, absolutely.